Welcome back to the Brotherhood of Gaming podcast. You know, we need to do these more often.
I say so.
But, you know, I think sometimes it's just boring with it being a couple thing. We need a crowd. And so that's why I invited this new Brotherhood member who's kind of behind the scenes. George Kofka, you might have heard of him. Maybe you haven't. He's
my eventual replacement.
Hello.
Yeah, pretty much. You're getting stale, Gene. People aren't liking your videos as much. You're letting us down.
No, nothing like that.
Anyway, welcome back, everybody. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Brotherhood of Gaming. We do podcasts, we do game reviews, we do a lot of things, so much so that we get distracted on what we should do next, but we leave it for you guys to decide what that should be. Anyway, I'm William Morris.
I am Eugene Morris.
And I am George Kofka.
And we have topics to discuss in the pop culture scene when it comes to video games, entertainment, movies, books. So we have a lot of topics to discuss when it comes to pop culture and the video game scene and the movie scene and the book scene. So, what are our topics for this week?
Well...
What happened out there in the real world?
Quite a bit. First, let's talk about a place that you and I are both familiar with. I think all three of us might be familiar with. And that's the corporation of GameStop.
The titans of capitalism.
Now, there was a report a while back that GameStop had lost almost like $3 billion or something in their last quarter.
Now, to be fair, I know dick about GameStop's financial issues, whether they're in the good or whether people are making it out to seem like they're worse off than they are. Because I've seen some channels going to say that, oh, GameStop's going to be closing this year. Oh, it's over for GameStop. They've lost. They're closing stores all across the nations. Oh, this is the end for it's the GameStop apocalypse. It's over. And I'm just like, really, guys?
It feels like, though, this one is legit because they are looking for another CEO and they're struggling to make sales. GameStop, I think the biggest thing that's hurting GameStop is the digital sales. And because now I think a lot of people are going the digital route to buy their games. And what makes it easier is that a lot of games now, digitally, they used to be like full price if you wanted to buy them off digitally. But now they go on sale a lot. And so there's just a lot of other alternatives, like going to Amazon is another one. If you notice, GameStop has been also doing a lot of sales, trying to get people to buy newer games.
Well, they've expanded their market. Like now they sell a lot of really cool toys and figures.
I was going to get into that. So GameStop is struggling financially, but I wanted to talk not so much about them, but I just want to talk about our personal feelings when it comes to GameStop. Basically, do we think that GameStop is good or bad for the video game industry? What do you think, Bill?
Sure. I mean, it's a game store. Like, I don't get heavily into the politics of how Target or GameStop or Toys R Us go about not Toys R Us anymore because they're gone. Or how these stores go about managing how they sell their product. I'm here to buy the game. I'm here to do business. Like, are you going to sell me the game for the price? And I'm here to see what the cool stuff they got. Because GameStop, say what you will about them, they are a good place to go to if you want to see, like, the new cool stuff. And not just games, but they also have, like, really cool trinkets and items that you really can't find it anywhere else. Maybe on a hot topic if on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think, George?
Well, they do have their midnight premieres and whatnot. And my roommate and I do actually frequent GameStop when something new is coming out. Like, he just got Smash Brothers by waiting in line, at a midnight event. So it's useful in that regard. But Gene's absolutely right. They were in buyout talks earlier this year, supposedly. Not that anything ever actually came of it yet that I know of. So yeah, they're probably in trouble. And as to whether they're good or bad, they're just one avenue. They're one way to get games. Nowadays, you've got Amazon, you've got the market for Steam where people are getting a lot of games. The market's changing.
Every console has its own store.
Yep.
Yeah, but here's the problem I have. I hate digital releases.
Why is that?
Because first of all, a lot of people would agree with me. I like physical stuff. I like being able to hold the game in my hand and know that I own it. When it comes to digital stuff, even though some people like to say, like, oh, it can't happen, in fact, it did happen. It happened to me. I lost my original PSN account, and I paid for Sonic Mania full price for it, and because I lost access to that PSN account, there went everything on it. So that just goes. Yeah, if you lose your account, if for some reason something is hacked, or just in general, if the servers eventually shut down, you could and may inevitably lose the ability to play these games you bought legally digitally. Whereas if you own a physical version of it, you will always have it. And it's always playable in the way it was in its current version. You can't always rely on the fact that your digital copies will always be there. They may not be one day. Who's to say that Steam doesn't have one bad day and everything has to shut down? Well, everything stops. You're screwed. Mm-hmm. And
I've also bought games digitally on like Xbox 360 and stuff like that, and over time, for whatever reason, the developers just lost their licenses to it, and then I don't have access to the game anymore a couple times. Like, if I have to re-download it, can't do it.
Yeah, and I hate digital releases because of that. Like, there's no hands-on anything. If I buy something, I want to know that I own it and I can touch it and I can put the game in, and it's on me. So yeah, I hate digital releases. If I have no choice to get them, I'll bite the bullet.
The problem is that's probably where we're all heading, or that's I think where the game industry wants us to head, where everything is bought digitally.
Yeah, but whether or not it will go that route, and like who knows? Maybe one day when we're like in our 60s or something, maybe that'll be the case. But for right now, I don't see that being the thing anytime soon. For
me, GameStop is kind of become like my new Blockbuster. I really enjoyed back in the day just going to Blockbuster to see what was there. I'm not like you. Well, we come from kind of the same generations. Where
we come from the same
generation. Yeah, we like physical.
Yeah, media.
And it's something where, you know what, it's on the weekend, I'm out and about doing whatever, maybe I'll stop by GameStop to see what's there. Or, oh hey, I on my Power Awards app, and oh hey, they're having a buy two, get one free used. Okay, man, I can do that. And I enjoy going with you to GameStop, not so much to get the games, but to look at the figures. Because they got some, like you said, they got some really nice trinkets. I recently got a Lara Croft style amiibo from there,
which kind of it's weird how PlayStation, I guess, or I don't know if it's just PlayStation, but there's a whole line of figures that now look like amiibos and they're boxed like amiibos, but they're not amiibos, and they sell like Summoned Skull from Yu-Gi-Oh, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Lara Croft, Spyro the Dragon.
I've seen Ryu, I've seen
Mitsurugi from Soul Calibur,
Hayashi,
but I think you also like to go to GameStop with me because there's the potential that I might get you a free something or other, like your
posters. We recently back then I got a nice poster for Darksiders 3. Speaking of which, they also sell a lot of action figures, and I remember Bill sent me a picture. Hey, I saw this Marvel Legends Archangel, and Archangel is my favorite Marvel character. And I saw that, I'm like, man, that is so rare. So next time when we went to GameStop, though, that store that was sold out. So we kind of looked around, and there was another one across in a mall across the way. So and it was like 8:30, and they closed at 9. I'm like, Bill, get in the car, we're going. So we went over there and we got it just before the store closed.
But yeah, and GameStop they get a lot of exclusive, really cool stuff.
One thing we see often there is the Mega Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite action figure collection that has the Infinity
they're like the statues.
And the statues. It's like, damn, I just want that Mega Man X.
Yeah, I know. And they have to sell the whole freaking thing as a set.
Yeah.
For like $120, and it's like, I just want the X statue. Screw everything else.
I think that's maybe why they kind of went that way, to give people more incentive to go to GameStop and just get games, you know? But I like the joy of going to a place like that and looking to see what's there, you know, and kind of like a game hunt in a way.
It really is. I mean, it's really kind of like it's difficult to explain. Like, some people like the feeling of going into a Blockbuster because it allows them to be in an environment where they love talking about movies and socializing and fraternizing with people about movies and the things of that nature. And it's the same thing for us. Like, GameStop is a game store specifically through and through, and it has everything that a gamer like us from generations way back to now would want. Like, all of the classic characters and cool stuff and niche items. It allows us to socialize with some of the workers who are actually really cool workers. Not everybody likes them, but I don't know. Like, I tend to get along very well with the people that work there. and even new people that we can just not like. I've made friends just from people passing by in GameStop because we start like talking about like certain things, like somebody brought up a Kingdom Hearts something or other, and of course I had to butt in, and now I'm friends with that person. So it's like it's a really good place to socialize and fraternize. You can't get that with things like Netflix and digital releases. Like there's no socializing. There is none of that, and I relish that, and I hate to think. And unfortunately, I believe that one day if that does become the norm, we're going to lose that entirely.
Not to mention there's the visual display aspect, too. You can walk into a GameStop, browse around, and go, I really like that Archangel figure, whereas you're not really going to get that by looking around on Amazon. You might look specifically for things, but you're not going to just happen upon them.
No.
Right.
And also, being able to see it in person allows you to better reflect on whether or not you want it or not, whereas it might look cool on the internet, but does it match what you think it's going to be in real life?
So I just think it's kind of inevitable that GameStop will go under, but when it does, I think it'll be kind of sad. I know I have heard horror stories about working for GameStop.
Oh yeah,
but I'm sure all corporations have their own
horror stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that we see regularly that work on GameStop around here, and they seem happy. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard people who used to work at Disney in some area and they absolutely love it. But then I've heard horror stories of people that could tell you like terrible stories about what it was like to work for Disney.
Yeah, so everyone is different. They have their own
fairy tale.
Yeah, fairy tale. But I enjoy GameStop, and I'll enjoy it for as long as it's still here. I think overall it's good for the industry.
Now, let's not pretend that GameStop is blameless or hasn't done anything wrong. Yes, they have done poor business decisions. Like, they have reopened the market of taking in and selling retro games, and they have openly lied about saying that they refurbish these old games, they check to see if they're legit, and they clean them by sending them to a warehouse where they do the immense science to them and make sure that they're all perfectly functional. And it's been proven by more people than you can count on YouTube who have said that they've bought in retro stuff from GameStop and it's either fake, bootlegged, or completely broken, unworking, or just flat out wrong. So yeah, it's clear that there's some lazy management going on behind that, and maybe that hurt them more than it did help them, because especially with the more rare games, like if you imagine if people brought in like a little Samson and a Flintstones Surprise the Dinosaur Peak, which are really, really stupidly rare and expensive NES games, they sell them to GameStop, get that expensive amount of cash for it, and then GameStop later finds out that they've been screwed because they're fake and they can't do anything and can't sell them.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that this didn't help.
Yeah. So, George, what's your final thoughts on GameStop as a whole?
Well, I think Will's right that has kind of tarnished the reputation, but at the same time, it's that store that you go to pick up your copies and stuff like that. So it still serves an absolute purpose. But in terms of the used game market, yeah, they've got a bit of a tarnished reputation by now. So
yeah. So at the end of the day, all right, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say I neither view them as good nor bad. They're a corporation, and therefore are good and bad inherently.
Honestly, I think it really is what you make of it with your own personal experience. Like, we've had good personal experiences with GameStops because, I don't know, maybe just the GameStops in our area have always been good to us. We've never wanted or asked anything more of them other than what they do is just to be a game store and sell games. And if they have cool trinkets and sell cool stuff on the side, I'm okay with that. Sure, they might have done some questionable decisions in the past, but that doesn't affect me personally. Hey, if you want your digital releases, that's fine. I don't like digital releases because of the reasons I already said, and I like to be able to socialize with people of my my hobby. So yeah, GameStop does its job. Whether or not it'll go under, time will tell. We don't know. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.